Chapter 3157. System, it's too early to feel guilty. It won't be too late to feel guilty after the host raises his conditions. Based on the host's temperament, the conditions that he would raise would definitely make Shi Jing feel extremely uncomfortable. The sacred medicine is the most precious thing in the Holy Gu tribe. It's something that the entire tribe protects. It can save lives and help people on the verge of death recover. You will know how precious it is. Of course, Shi Jing was aware of this. Unfortunately, the recipe for the sacred medicine was lost. He didn't think that Tang Guo was lying to him. Today's events had happened too suddenly. Tang Guo's words should be true. Moreover, after being together for so long, her personality was still so pure. She wouldn't lie to him. System, wrong. Being too confident isn't a good thing. Kong Qi was also very curious about what conditions Tang Guo would raise. He was worried that Tang Guo would be soft-hearted and easily let Shi Jing go. He could only support Tang Guo. He didn't have the qualifications to raise any substantial conditions to make Shi Jing agree. However, when Tang Guo said that the sacred medicine was very precious, he had a premonition. This little girl was a little naive, but she was very clear-headed. When she raised her conditions later, perhaps she wouldn't lose out too much. However, he didn't expect that Tang Guo's conditions would surprise him so much. The sacred medicine can be said to be all the property of my Holy Gu tribe. Tang Guo stared at Shi Jing. Her gaze fell on Xie Qingxue. The person you cherish the most is her. Your heart and eyes are all about her. Even if I kill her and snatch you away, it's meaningless. Therefore, I want all of your wealth to compensate my clansmen. Your actions have made me lose face in front of my tribe members. You have also made my tribe members lose face. As long as you are willing to give all your wealth to me, leaving nothing behind, then our relationship will be void. In the future, you will walk your own path and I will cross my single-plank bridge. If you care about the woman in your arms, then go ahead. I will forget about you and won't do anything else. System, what a scam. Take all his wealth and leave a love Gu to torture him. Whoever provokes this woman will be unlucky. When Tang Guo made this request, everyone was stunned. Chu Lihui was the first to react. She almost clapped her hands and cheered. Yes, she loved it. How could a little compensation be enough? What Shi Jing had cheated him out of was a life-saving medicine. If the world's richest man could obtain a sacred medicine to extend his life in his final days, he would definitely agree to give up all of his wealth. To the richest man in the world, being alive was the greatest wealth. As long as he was alive, he would have endless wealth. However, Shi Jing was not the richest man in the world, nor did he have the connections of the richest man in the world. The other party was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, standing at the peak of life from the very beginning. He had never experienced the trials and tribulations of the life of the world's richest man. Once all the wealth was gone, what would happen to Shi Jing? She really looked forward to it. As far as she knew, in order to strengthen Shi Jing's position in the company, the Shi couple had transferred most of their nominal shares to him. If these shares became Tang Guo's, the Shi family's company would no longer be the Shi family's company. Kong Qi also thought of this point. His eyes lit up as he looked at Tang Guo. This young lady really made him look at her in a new light. Peak. Chapter 3158. Shi Jing did not expect that Tang Guo would directly ask for all his wealth. He hesitated and did not speak again. All the wealth under his name, not to mention the fixed assets, just the shares in the company was a huge sum of wealth. If Tang Guo wanted all the fixed assets under his name, he might not hesitate at all. However, all the wealth included the company's shares. Even Tang Guo could not react in time. Chu Lihui and Kong Qi, who were standing beside her, could not react in time. As long as he agreed, these two people would be happy to help him liquidate the assets under his name. He would not be able to do anything to them. And the shares in the company were basically the Shi family's right to speak in the company. Once they lost the shares, the Shi family's right to speak in the company was almost gone. It was very difficult to make a comeback. Father Shi and Mother Shi transferred most of the shares to him in order to push him up. If he really agreed, his parents would probably be angered to death. If he did not agree, it would seem that did not keep her promise. Of course, he was worried that if he did not agree, Tang Guo would fly into a rage out of humiliation and directly control the surrounding goo worms to hurt Xia Qingxue. Xiao Gua, you're making things difficult for me. In the end, Shi Jing said this sentence in an attempt to arouse some of Tang Guo's feelings and make her take a step back. Other than the company's shares, all the wealth under my name will be yours. How about that? As long as the company was there, the money and fixed assets would be there very quickly. His parents would not be alarmed. However, if the company's shares were gone, the Shi family would be in chaos. Tang Guo shook her head. Shi Jing cheated the only holy medicine from me. Now, he only wants to compensate me with a little wealth. If I bring this back, I don't know how sad my clansmen will be. My conditions will not change. I want all the wealth under your name, including all the shares in your company. I'll emphasize again, all of it. Not a single bit can be left. You can only take the woman in your arms and disappear from my sight. You're not allowed to take anything else. It's fine if you don't agree. That means it's not negotiable. According to the rules of our clan, I will take back whoever ate the holy medicine. Now that the sacred medicine is no longer in the formula, we need the cooperation of the woman in your arms. See if we can find traces of the sacred medicine on her body. Shi Jing's expression changed. What did he mean by finding traces? He just wanted to use Xia Qingxue as an experiment. Xia Qingxue was the only woman he cared about. How could he do that? Let me think about it. Shi Jing had a headache. He did not expect Tang Guo to push him so hard. Who could have imagined that this naive and pure little girl could be so heartless when she didn't care about feelings? I know I'm sorry for deceiving you, but there's no room for discussion. Hurry up and think about it. Once you agree, I'll inform my clansmen about this. I lost the only sacred medicine. As the Holy Gu race's saintess, I have to give my clansmen an explanation. The fact that I didn't take your lives is already out of consideration for the past. Tang Guo's eyes fell on Xia Qingxue, and the look in her eyes suddenly changed. You've been hesitating for so long. Is it because this woman is not as important to you as you think? In your heart, she's not worth all your wealth? Vertex. Chapter 3159. The people behind Tang Guo almost applauded when they heard her comparing Shi Jing's wealth to Xia Qingxue's. This comparison was really amazing. If Shi Jing didn't agree now, Xia Qingxue would feel uncomfortable even if she understood the importance of this matter. Shi Jing's expression was very ugly. Obviously, he also understood. If he didn't agree to Tang Guo's request today, he and Xia Qingxue could have other misunderstandings after resolving the previous misunderstanding. Xiao Gua, this matter is very important to me, so I need some time to think about it. After all, what do you need to think about? Don't you care about the woman in your arms? Moreover, everyone here saw clearly what you did with her just now. Even if you don't want her and choose to live with me, you are already a dirty thing. I am the Holy Gu tribe's saintess. You are so dirty. I am not a garbage collection station. How can I still want you? Our Holy Gu tribe advocates pure feelings. Not only must our feelings be pure, but our bodies must also be pure. Especially if you have an affair with another woman after we get married. If you were in the Holy Gu tribe's village, you would be eaten to death by thousands of Gu. Tang Guo wasn't lying. Betrayal of feelings and bodies was very serious in the Holy Gu tribe. If they didn't like each other, they could break up, but they were not allowed to fool around after marriage. All the tribe members had always followed this rule. President Shi, hurry up and think about it. Do you want the wealth or the woman in your arms? Kong Qi couldn't wait any longer and said, I know it's not convenient for you now, but it's okay. When you think about it, I can arrange for people to help you with many things and procedures. I am very experienced in this matter and know a lot of people. I can handle some small matters like this without any problem. Kong Qi gently stroked his jade thumb ring. His smile was still the same, but Tang Guo could hear a hint of joy in his voice. This guy really couldn't wait any longer? Ah, Jing, don't be difficult anymore. Xie Qingxue was actually very upset. Although she could understand why Shi Jing didn't agree immediately, she said, I did take the sacred medicine. I will go back with Miss Tang and cooperate with them to test the medicine. I'm already very happy to know your intentions. After all, this was all of their wealth. No one would agree without hesitation. Qing Shui, I won't let you go. Shi Jing hugged Xie Qingxue tightly and raised his head to look at Tang Guo. Xiao Guo, are you really going to be so ruthless? Chu Lihui was a little irritable. Shi Jing, please have some shame. What did Xiao Guo mean by exterminating them? You're the one who cheated them of their feelings. For Xie Qingxue, you cheated them of their most precious sacred medicine. Now that they don't want your life, they didn't force Xie Qingxue to spit out the sacred medicine either. If you give up all your wealth, this problem will be solved. It's not that difficult. Shi Jing, I really look down on you. If you're a man, then be more straightforward. There's no such thing as having the best of both worlds. Do you think you're the son of God and can take all the good things? You're already like this with Xie Qingxue today. Please don't hold Xiao Guo hostage anymore. Vertex. Chapter 3160. Chu Lihui was so angry that her head was about to explode. Hurry up. Whether you want the person or the money, choose for yourself. It's not that difficult. Ah, Jing, let me go with Miss Tang. I don't want to make things difficult for you. Xie Qingxue was very sad and what she said was true. She regretted being so impulsive and causing Shi Jing to be in trouble. Miss Tang, if you want to blame someone, blame me. If I didn't impulsively come to find Ah Jing, this wouldn't have happened. It's all my fault. I couldn't help myself. I'm really sorry. Ah Jing didn't mean to hurt you. He did it for me, so. Tang Guo looked at Xie Qingxue coldly. So, you're showing off to me that Shi Jing lied to me for the Holy Gu tribe's sacred medicine for you? When he did this, he was actively trying to hurt me. He clearly has someone he likes, but in order to get the sacred medicine, he lied to my feelings. This is intentional harm, not unintentional harm. I don't care about how deep your feelings are. Today, either you come back with me to the Holy Gu tribe, or Shi Jing hands over all his wealth. Of course, if you're not willing, you can die in front of me and prove to me that your feelings are as deep as the sea. Tang Guo made another suggestion. As long as you die, even if I don't take Shi Jing's wealth, it'll be considered as an explanation to the tribe. Xie Qingxue wanted to say something, but Shi Jing said, okay, I agree. He already felt that it was useless to say anything today. It was impossible for him to give up on Xie Qingxue, so he could only give up on his wealth. He believed that even if he gave up everything, he could make a comeback with his ability. After all, the Shi family was not a simple family. With resources and connections, it was not impossible to establish another company. Kong Qi stood at the side with a faint smile on his face. He gently touched his jade ring. Make a comeback? With him, Kong Qi, around, it was impossible. System, TSK, TSK, TSK. Shi Jing, this system won't remind you. Looking at that man's smile, it seems that he doesn't want to give you a chance to make a comeback. Xiao Guo, leave the rest to us. Chu Lihui patted her chest and promised. She even pointed at Kong Qi who was standing at the door. My cousin is very good at this kind of thing. Leave it to him. I guarantee that all of Shi Jing's assets will be cleared. When it's in your hands, not a single cent less, right, cousin? Kong Qi smiled and nodded. I've already made the call. A lawyer and staff will come over to deal with this matter in a moment. His gaze fell on Shi Jing's position. CEO, sure, to avoid any more trouble, let's settle this matter first before leaving. For a while, we'll be here. And I'll send you 3 meals to be sent to you. Shi Jing's face sank. This Kong Chi really didn't give him any chance. Director Kong, don't you think you've gone too far? To be to me. To be two's to be. System, what a cousin's friend. If cousin Chu Lihui knows the truth, she'll probably cry. CEO, sure, if this matter gets out, it won't be good for you and Xie Qingxue. Chapter 3161. Isn't it good to settle this matter as soon as possible? Chu Lihui smiled and said, just now, I was at the door and accidentally recorded something. If CEO sure really wants to do something, I might not be able to hold back and share some things with everyone. Shi Jing's expression changed drastically. He looked at Chu Lihui as if he wanted to eat her up. CEO sure, don't stare at me. After so many things, I'm a person who pays more attention to evidence. Xiao Guo is so innocent. I didn't really record these things to publicize. I'm just afraid that you'll be shameless and hurt Xiao Guo again. After all, she's too innocent. How can she play with someone as knowledgeable as CEO Shi? System, innocent? This was the biggest joke he had heard this year. Someone actually thought that his host was innocent. Oh God, how scary. All of Shi Jing's escape routes were blocked. He subconsciously looked at Tang Guo, only to find that Tang Guo's expression was cold. There was no longer the innocent smile on her face. She didn't even look at him. He understood that there was no way to salvage the situation today. He could only accept his fate and cooperate with Kong Chi's arrangements. The outside world didn't know that something big was happening in the Shi Corporation. Kong Chi's people moved very quickly. However, the transfer of these assets wasn't something that could be done in a day or two. Shi Jing stayed in the company the whole time, and the Shi couple didn't suspect anything. After all, they could still call Shi Jing, and the company didn't have any abnormalities. The fixed assets and stock funds under Shi Jing's name were transferred very quickly. As for the company's shares, it was much slower. However, with Shi Jing's cooperation, it wasn't difficult. Many days later, all of Shi Jing's assets were transferred under Tang Guo's name. Kong Chi rummaged through Shi Jing's wallet and turned to discuss with Tang Guo. There are still a few thousand yuan in the wallet. Let's leave it for CEO Shi to rent a house and take a taxi. After all, CEO Shi has to live. We can't not leave him a single cent. CEO Shi's car has also been sold. Without some money, he still has to support a woman. It's still quite difficult. System, is this guy here to be funny? This was completely stabbing Shi Jing in the heart. Tang Guo replied, okay, keep the money in the wallet for him. Keep your cell phone too. Cell phones nowadays aren't cheap. They cost a few thousand yuan, Kong Chi said. If you don't have a communication device, it'll be inconvenient to do anything. Alright, keep it. Tang Guo's expression was cold, but in fact, she was crazy with joy. This guy was really to her liking. Kong Chi wandered around the office. Finally, his gaze fell on Tang Guo's finger. Wedding ring, do you want to take it off? This wedding ring was custom made by Shi Jing in order to win the heart of the original owner. That was what he had used when he proposed. Shi Jing was also wearing it now. He hadn't thought about it at all these days. He quickly took off the ring and handed it over to Kong Chi. Since this person was deceiving me from the start, I have no use for this thing. Brother Kong Chi, pass it to him. Now that he has no money, the ring can still be used a second time. Kong Chi nodded and smiled. Okay, Miss Xia is so understanding, and CEO Shi is a person who values friendship. The two of them probably won't care about this. After all, true love can tolerate everything. If you don't have money to get married, if you don't have money to buy a ring, it doesn't matter if you use the ring a second time. Peak. Chapter 3162. Chu Lihui and the others were stunned when they heard this. Especially when Kong Qi and Tang Guo were singing the same tune. Almost every word they said was enough to infuriate the other party. Then, Xiaoguo's matter here is over. Is there anything else that I haven't thought of? Kong Qi asked in a light tone. It was not worth it. Perhaps the things that he had done recently made him feel good. His face was slightly rosier than before. Tang Guo's female friends did not go back these few days. At most, they went to the restaurant downstairs to sleep and wash up. As long as they were awake, they would immediately come up. The things that happened recently really made them dumbfounded. Especially when they saw Shi Jing with their own eyes, it did not matter anymore. They also saw how the legendary king of hell, Kong Qi, did things. They hid in a corner and trembled. No wonder the Shi family almost annexed the Chu family. When the Chu family was in such a difficult time, Kong Qi took action and solved everything. At that time, the Shi family did not even dare to fart. It turned out that Shi Jing, a young talent, was just a younger brother in front of the king of hell. Brother Kong Qi is very thoughtful. He thought of everything that I did not think of. Tang Guo turned around and looked at Shi Jing and Xie Qingxue. Since Shi Jing has already given me all his wealth, then the matter of him cheating me of the sacred medicine is cancelled out. System, take note, take note. Host is talking about the matter of the sacred medicine being cancelled out by the wealth. It is not cancelled out. Brother Kong Qi, Lihui, thank you for these days. Let's go. With a huge sum of money and the shares that Shi Jing gave her, she was going to do something big. Brother Kong Qi, I won't care about that company. I will sell all my shares for money. System, Aya, isn't it just a matter of putting your left hand to your right hand? My dear host is quite reserved. Kong Qi was stunned. Actually, if you don't care, you can hire someone to help you. He knew many professional managers. Not to mention the Shi family, no matter how big the company was, they could manage it. He just needed to hire a few more. Also, money is easy to depreciate in the heart. Now that you have so many shares in the company, you can hire a professional manager to help you manage it. Also, didn't you say that this was an explanation to your people? A few days ago, he said that he wanted to let his clansmen come out to see the world. When the time comes, I can arrange for his clansmen to come to the company for internships. With a place to train, our clansmen will be able to grow quickly. Tang Guo felt that everything Kong Qi thought was too much in line with her wishes. Seriously, whatever she wanted, the other party would give her. That makes sense. At first, I didn't know any professional managers. Kong Qi did his best to maintain a faint smile as he said warmly, I know a lot of people. When I help people, I help them to the end. Let me help you with this matter. I will hire a few professional managers to help you manage it in 2 days. But before that, I need CEO Shi's cooperation to transfer the management rights of the company. Actually, at this time, Shi Jing had no choice but to agree. Tang Guo was the one who held the most shares and had Kong Qi's support. Even if the people in the company were unwilling and wanted to use some tricks, it was useless. After all, the person who intervened in this matter was the legendary king of hell. It was just as Kong Qi had expected. Although the company's higher-ups were shocked, because of Kong Qi's appearance, they almost did not dare to say no. Top point. Chapter 3163. What a joke. Kong Qi had already interfered. Now that the matter was settled, what could they change? With Kong Qi's interference, the company's future development would definitely not be too bad. They were not the Shi family. The Shi family had no say in the company, and even their remaining shares were pitifully small. It was not like the company was going to close down. It had nothing to do with them at all. So, why should they offend Kong Qi, the king of hell, just to help the Shi family? The management of the company was very smooth, and Kong Qi was very fast. A day later, the manager he hired for Tanghua was already online and came to help manage the company. All of this happened too quickly. When the assets were transferred, the news was very tightly concealed. The Shi couple had always been very confident in Shi Jing. In addition, Shi Jing did not like to be watched by others. Many years ago, the Shi couple had no way to check the whereabouts of his assets. When they found out that everything was settled, there was no way to salvage it. Shi Jing temporarily went to Zhu Jing's house. Now, the only person who could take him and Xie Qingxue in was Zhu Jing. He did not dare to bring Xie Qingxue back to the Shi family's old mansion. Now that his parents knew about this matter, he did not know how to end it. After Yuan Shiwei and Fang Sifei found out about what happened, they did not react for many days. When they came back to their senses, Zhu Jing said, "Shi Jing, why were you so impulsive? Now that you've given everything away, what are you going to do? If uncle and auntie find out, won't they be furious? To think that Tanghua dared to ask for it. That's all your wealth. I didn't expect that this woman, who usually looks innocent and lively, would be so ruthless." When Xie Qingxue heard these words, she felt very guilty. She was very touched that Shi Jing had given up all his assets for her. At the same time, she felt that Tanghua's actions were completely forcing him into a dead end. Jing had nothing now, and he did not know how to explain it to his parents. If the Shi couple knew that Jing had given up all his wealth for her, who knew what they would think of her? "Qingxue, don't think too much. I'll settle everything. You just need to stay by my side obediently. Compared to everything else, nothing is more important than us being together." Shi Jing comforted her, "Without you by my side for more than 2 years, I kept feeling like something was missing. It was as if I had no soul, like a walking corpse. If I lose my wealth, I can still earn it back. If you don't have it, then I have nothing. We should feel lucky that we're still together." Xie Qingxue was comforted. Zhu Jing and Fang Sifei were also touched by their feelings. "It's all that Tanghua's fault. She's so heartless." Fang Sifei said, "She was actually jealous that you liked Qingxue wholeheartedly and wanted to sow discord between you two. In the end, what she didn't expect was that you didn't care about those things. You decisively gave up all your wealth and chose Xie Qingxue. Right now, Tanghua is probably hiding in some corner crying in regret." Tanghua, who Fang Sifei said was hiding in the corner regretting her decision, was currently eating hot pot with Chu Lihui and Kong Qi this time. They were not eating outside, but at home. Tanghua personally made the mandarin duck hot pot, especially the clear soup side, which she cooked with medicinal herbs. The things put inside were basically all beneficial to Kong Qi Vertex. Chapter 3164. Therefore, it didn't matter if Kong Qi ate more. "Big brother Kong Qi, you can eat more of this. These medicinal herbs are relatively mild. You should eat some from time to time. It's good for your body." Of course, Kong Qi was not polite. He tasted a mouthful and felt that this was the best hot pot he had ever eaten in his life. He drank another mouthful of soup and instantly felt that this soup was also the best he had ever eaten in his life. Chu Lihui was originally eating the red soup. She was a person who liked spicy food. Seeing Kong Qi enjoying it so much, she couldn't help but try some of the clear soup. Once she started eating, she couldn't stop. Kong Qi watched Chu Lihui eat the food that Tanghua prepared for him. When Chu Lihui was about to reach her chopsticks into the clear soup, he blocked her with a ladle. "Cousin, your red soup is suitable for you. Xiaogua specially prepared this clear soup for me. There isn't much, just enough for me to eat alone." Chu Lihui naturally didn't listen. She wanted to snatch the food inside. However, no matter how fast she couldn't be faster than Kong Qi. After snatching for a minute, she still couldn't snatch the food she liked. In the end, she gave up angrily. "If big brother Kong Qi likes to eat it, I will research more delicious food with medicinal herbs in the future for you to eat," Tanghua said. System N. The dregs have been dealt with. It's time to coax my future husband. Will it be troublesome? Kong Chi naturally wanted to eat it. If you don't mind people seeing your medicinal cuisine recipes, why don't I get someone to prepare it? Of course, if it can't be spread, then forget it. He was already very lucky to be able to eat such delicious food. If it was someone else, he might have opened his mouth and asked to buy the recipes. But facing Tang Gua, all his schemes couldn't be used against her. I don't mind. These are all ordinary recipes for nourishing the body. Big brother Kong Chi reminded me. I can't be so suitable every time. I have prepared some food for you to eat. Later, I will write down the recipes for you. That way, you can eat healthy and delicious food every day. You don't say, Xiaogua, those pills of yours are really useful. Ever since I was young, I've never seen any color on my cousin's face. Recently, I suddenly noticed that cousin's complexion is ruddy. Not good, you look much better than before. Tang Gua giggled. Brother Kong Chi has always been very good looking. It doesn't matter if there's any color on your face. But it's a good thing to have some color. It means that your body is getting better. Kong Chi was a little uncomfortable from the praise, but he enjoyed it very much. After a meal, Kong Chi was very satisfied. Within 2 days, Tang Gua gave Kong Chi a very thick notebook. It was filled with prescriptions that she had written down from memory. Most of them were dietary prescriptions that could nourish one's body. Main dishes, side dishes, and soups were all prepared for the 4 seasons of the year. Everything was available, and Kong Chi would never get sick of it. The system looked on and was a little envious. These prescriptions were really specially formulated by the host according to Kong Chi's physical condition. With a manager managing the company, Tang Gua also had money in her hands. She didn't have much money, but she had a lot of property. In order to help her clansmen develop, she used her money to buy several villas in the villa complex. She was prepared to take over a portion of them for training so that they could intern in the company sooner. Tang Gua also explained the matter with Shi Jing to her clansmen. Peak. Chapter 3165. The clansmen did not blame her. Instead, they felt indignant for her. The clansmen knew how much Tang Gua liked Shi Jing. They did not expect that Shi Jing, who looked good, would do such a thing. Although Tang Gua took away all of Shi Jing's wealth, the clansmen were still quite angry. If Tang Gua had not stopped them, they would have come out to find trouble with Shi Jing. But now that Tang Gua had drawn a blueprint for the clansmen, and they were using Shi Jing's former company to do things, they felt a little better. They felt that they had vented their anger by taking control of Shi Jing's former company. They had no complaints about Tang Gua's arrangements. Tang Gua's arrangements over the years had made the clansmen very comfortable, and they understood how important it was to interact with the outside world. If it were not for their lack of information, the holy maiden would not have been deceived by Shi Jing. After a portion of the clansmen were brought to the villa, Tang Gua asked Kong Chi for help to hire some teachers to teach them every day. In any case, they would teach them everything they needed to learn. Since it was Tang Gua's matter, Kong Chi was naturally very willing. Tang Gua did not know that after the Shi couple found out that Shi Jing had given away all of his wealth, they were now arguing with him. Especially when they found out that Shi Jing had given everything away for Xie Qingxue, they were so angry that they almost fell ill. They threatened to never acknowledge Xie Qingxue as their daughter-in-law. The couple ordered Shi Jing to leave Xie Qingxue and apologize to Tang Gua. Unexpectedly, at this moment, Shi Jing suddenly had a relapse. He convulsed in pain and fell to the ground, scaring everyone. They hurriedly sent him to the hospital for a checkup. The checkup showed that Shi Jing's body was very healthy and there were no problems. After a few days of recuperation, Shi Jing was discharged. However, just as he walked out of the hospital, he convulsed in pain again. Xie Qingxue, who was supporting Shi Jing, was scared out of her wits. This kind of thing happened many times. Shi Jing had changed hospitals for checkups, but there were no results. Because of this, the Shi couple did not dare to quarrel with Shi Jing for the time being. They only hated Xie Qingxue. One day, Shi Jing suddenly remembered something. It was the love goo. There was nothing wrong with his body. If there was a problem, it would be that he had taken the love spell when he married Tang Gua. He asked Zhu Jing to help him investigate the love goo. In the end, the information he obtained was that when the love goo acted up, it was similar to his. From then on, whenever he saw Xie Qingxue or thought of Xie Qingxue in his heart, the love goo would activate. In fact, because the female goo was too far away, the male goo would feel uneasy, and after being irritable, it would suffer. Is there any way to solve it? Zhu Jing shook his head. Based on the information I've received, I've never heard of a way to completely remove the love goo. However, I heard that the female goo's parasitic host can control the male goo's emotions through the female goo, so that the male goo won't eat the parasitic host and won't feel pain. This Tang Gua is too cruel. Fang Sifei couldn't help but curse. Shi Jing had already given her all his wealth, yet she still left a love goo in Shi Jing's body. She must have known about this and deliberately didn't remind them. Most likely, she wanted to use this opportunity to humiliate Shi Jing and Qing Shui. Is there no other way? Shi Jing asked. Zhu Jing shook his head. In any case, I haven't heard of it. Perhaps Tang Guo would know. After all, she's the one who raises goo. I see. Shi Jing thought for a moment and said, don't tell Qing Shui about this for the time being. The Peak. Chapter 3166. I will find a chance to meet Xiao Gua and ask him about the love goo. But Xie Qingxue was already suspicious of Shi Jing's situation. She had been eavesdropping outside when the three of them were talking. Xie Qingxue felt very sad when she heard that it might be the love goo acting up. She covered her mouth with tears and turned to look for Tang Gua. Tang Gua was not surprised that Xie Qingxue came to look for her. After all, in the storyline, Xie Qingxue was the one who took the initiative to look for the original owner and ask her to help solve the love goo. Miss Tang, Jing has already compensated you with all his wealth. You also said that you would not pursue the matter of Jing cheating the holy medicine. So, can you remove the love goo from Jing's body? She remembered that every time Shi Jing was deeply in love with her, he would be in so much pain that he would not be able to get up. That pitiful look made her heart ache. Not only could she not do anything, but she also had to stay away from Jing so that the love goo would not torture him so much. She had never thought that there would come a day when Shi Jing would suffer from physical pain because he liked her too much when they were together. Ever since she found out that Shi Jing's pain was related to her, she did not dare to get close to him. She was afraid that he would suddenly be in so much pain that he would not be able to get up. So you came to look for me because of this. Tang Guo looked at Xie Qingxue coldly. But it is useless for you to look for me. Once the love goo is planted, it cannot be removed. I did get all of Shi Jing's wealth, but that was to compensate him for the holy medicine he cheated. I did not pursue the matter of him cheating me and playing with my feelings. Even if I could resolve it, I would not help him get rid of the love goo. This is what he deserves. He was the one who planted the love goo on his own accord. I didn't force him, or threaten him. He chose to plant it because he wanted to cheat the holy medicine. If he went back on his words and left, would not have stuffed the love goo into his body. Miss Tang, if you liked Jing before, he is really in pain now. Please help Jing. As long as you help Jing, I will do anything you want. Tang Guo glanced at Xie Qingxue and said, you're making fun of my love for Shi Jing again. Yes, I used to like him very much. But all her love was built on his deceit. How could I continue to like someone who cheated on my feelings? His pain has nothing to do with me. You should leave. I can't solve the love goo problem. Miss Tang, however, it's not like there's no solution. Shi Jing doesn't like people and doesn't understand feelings. The love goo won't do anything to him. Tang Guo said meaningfully, this is the best solution. If he doesn't fall in love, the love spell won't be able to threaten him. He'll quickly fall into a deep sleep. Alright, I still have things to do. Tang Guo left quickly. Xie Qingxue wanted to chase after her, but she was stopped by the bodyguards arranged by Kong Qi. Kong Qi's reason for arranging bodyguards for Tang Guo was that he felt that the Shi family might not be willing to accept it and was afraid that she would be in danger again. It would be safer to bring someone with her wherever she went. Tang Guo gladly accepted Kong Qi's kindness. Not long after Xie Qingxue left, she learned that Shi Jing came to look for her. Xiao Guo, since we're even now, can you help me solve the love goo problem? Tang Guo laughed and said, we're even. When did I say that we're even? The Peak. Chapter 3167. Did you say you gave up all your wealth? That's just compensation for the loss of the sacred medicine. I haven't settled the score with you for deceiving me and toying with my feelings. Besides, weren't you the one who planted the love goo to get the sacred medicine? You don't like other people and can stay in the village with me for the rest of your life. The love goo will be beneficial to your body. Xiao Guo, Shi Jing, Xie Qingxue also came to find me and wanted me to help you solve the problem of the love goo. I told her it's the same. Once the love goo is planted, there's no way to cure it. If you don't want to be in pain and not like other people, the love goo won't affect you. Shi Jing returned in disappointment and found that Xie Qingxue had left. He frantically went to find Xie Qingxue, but just as he found her, the love goo acted up again. Xie Qingxue wanted to leave, but Shi Jing's situation made her very worried. The Shi couple also found out from Zhu Jing that Shi Jing's illness was caused by the love goo. Hence, Tang Guo was once again found by the Shi couple. The Shi couple threatened and warned Tang Guo to get rid of the love goo in Shi Jing's body. But Tang Guo didn't fall for it. She directly released a dense swarm of goo worms, scaring the couple away. Tang Guo didn't help, so the Shi couple, Shi Jing and Xie Qingxue were in despair. Because of the love goo, their relationship was temporarily eased. Tang Guo didn't listen to reason and they couldn't do anything. There was also Kong Qi protecting Tang Guo. Xie Qingxue was starting to feel despair. Especially Shi Jing, he wasn't willing to let go of her. She was also worried and turned to leave. Just as they were in despair, a group of mysterious people found Xie Qingxue. Not long later, Xie Qingxue appeared in front of Tang Guo again. There were many people besides Xie Qingxue, including an unfathomable old man. This group of people seemed to be here to support Xie Qingxue. Seeing this group of people, Tang Guo was a little happy. After waiting for so long, this group of people finally appeared. This old man was not a so-called cultivator. There were no cultivators in this world. However, there were martial arts experts in this world. Yes, martial arts experts who could leap onto roofs and vault over walls, and who could cultivate inner strength. As for Xie Qingxue's identity, she was the granddaughter of the head of a secluded martial arts sect. Xie Qingxue's father was the bloodline left behind by this sect leader when he was training in Su world. Because of a great battle, the descendants of the head of this Wulin sect were all killed. Finally, he remembered that when he was young, he had met a woman in the mortal world. Therefore, they sent people out to look for him. This sect also had a large company in the secular world. However, this sect leader had always been focused on practicing martial arts. Outside matters were all managed by other people in the sect. After finding Xie Qingxue and knowing about the difficulties she was facing, the sect leader directly arranged for the strongest expert of the sect, which was the old man, to bring people to support Xie Qingxue. Knowing that Tang Guo was a member of the Holy Gu tribe, they were not afraid at all. The people of the Holy Gu clan only knew how to play with Gu. They were not good at fighting. Especially the Holy Gu clan. In the eyes of the entire martial arts world, they had long declined. You are the Holy Gu clan saintess, right? The old man spoke directly. I came this time for the love goo in our brother-in-law's body. Tang Guo smiled as she looked at the old man and the group of people who were standing neatly. Peak. Chapter 3168. Who are you? Tang Gua asked. She didn't look like an old man at all. The old man snorted. I'm the first elder of the Empyrean Terminus sect. As the saintess of the Holy Gu tribe, you should know about the Empyrean Terminus sect, right? Both Tang Gua and the host knew about the Empyrean Terminus sect. In the entire martial arts world, the Empyrean Terminus sect was indeed invincible and very powerful. Whether it was their martial arts or their businesses in the secular world, they couldn't be easily shaken. Of course, the Empyrean Terminus sect's powerful martial arts were more of a threat to the Holy Gu tribe. If the Empyrean Terminus sect really wanted to make things difficult for the Holy Gu tribe and sent people to exterminate them, the Holy Gu tribe, who were proficient in Gu arts but lacked martial arts, wouldn't be able to resist for long. In the plot, the host was originally unwilling to help Shi Jing resolve the matter of the Love Gu because the Empyrean Terminus sect supported Xie Qingxue and sent people to attack the Holy Gu tribe. The Holy Gu tribe suffered many casualties. In the end, the host gave up resisting and lured the male Gu into her body. As a result, the Empyrean Terminus sect finally gave up on exterminating the Holy Gu tribe. But after that, the Holy Gu tribe suffered a great loss and there was basically no possibility of recovery. Recalling these memories, Tang Guo looked at the first elder of the Empyrean Terminus sect with an unfriendly gaze. Some time ago, she had brought everyone from the Holy Gu tribe to the villa and arranged for them to study. Facing the blueprint that Tang Guo had drawn for them, everyone was full of enthusiasm. The main reason was that after Shi Jing's incident, they thought that Tang Guo needed to develop the Holy Gu tribe to heal. What Tang Guo did was for the good of the Holy Gu tribe, so they naturally cooperated. What they didn't know was that Tang Guo had secretly returned to the Holy Gu tribe. As long as someone dared to enter the Holy Gu tribe, no matter how strong they were, they would have to bear the consequences. It had been a long time since the Holy Gu tribe had someone who could summon 10,000 Gu. This time, she was going to summon 10,000 Gu together and let this group of unreasonable people see what it meant to be unreasonable. So it's the first elder of the Empyrean Terminus sect. May I know why you're here today? Little girl, you can't force matters of the heart. Hurry up and remove the Love Gu from Shi Jing's body. Otherwise, if the sect master gets angry, he might not be too friendly to your Holy Gu tribe. Tang Guo didn't care about this threat at all. Great elder, you sure talk big. Shi Jing did indeed have a Love Gu planted in him, but I didn't force him to do it, and I didn't break them up. On the contrary, it was he who deceived me and swindled the only saintly medicine away from me. After knowing the truth, I didn't have any intention of keeping him. Besides, the things that have been used by others are already dirty. As the Holy Gu race's saintess, I'm not a trash collector. I don't care about those things. That's right. Who cares if you're the grand elder of some sect? Shi Jing clearly deceived the holy maiden's feelings, swindled her out of the sacred medicine, and planted the Love Gu in her. However, that was during their marriage. This is the rule of our Holy Gu tribe. If he is unwilling, how can we force him? Our holy venomous Gu clan values mutual affection. On the other hand, it's your Empyrean Terminus sect who came to accuse the saintess without asking clearly. We won't let this go. Saintess, think carefully. The Holy Gu tribe has no chance of winning against the Empyrean Terminus sect. The old man was getting impatient. I'll give you a definite answer today. If you still don't agree, don't blame me for being impolite. Besides, the sect master's temper isn't as good as you think. Apex. Chapter 3169. Miss Qing Shui is the sect master's only granddaughter. You should know how important she is. Before Tang Guo could speak again, Shi Jing and Chu Lihui rushed over. Not only did they come in, but they also brought many people with them. In an instant, they surrounded Tang Guo and protected her tightly. Kong Qi wasn't afraid even in the face of a hermit expert. He sized up the old man and said, "Old man, Xiao Guo has no obligation to help Shi Jing solve the Love Gu problem. You can go back now." Shi Jing only has himself to blame for what he has today. You can't blame Xiaogua. If you want to talk about innocence, the most innocent person is still Xiaogua. Where did this wild brat come from? Don't meddle in my Empyrean Terminus sex matters. The old man was furious and glared at Tanggua. Saintess, are you really not going to consider it? No, I won't help Shi Jing solve the love goo. You are familiar with my holy goo tribe and should know that there's no way to completely solve it once it's planted. The old man narrowed his eyes. Although there's no way to completely solve it, I've heard that the love goo can be drawn out. As long as you draw it out, my Empyrean Terminus sect won't pursue this matter. Tanggua laughed. Great Elder has done his homework well. But he also knows that after drawing it out, he has to put it back into the host body. Otherwise, the love goo can't be drawn out. The second host body will suffer more pain. Why should I bear such pain to help Shi Jing? I'm the one who was deceived by him. I don't care. In short, if you don't solve Shi Jing's love goo, my Empyrean Terminus sect won't let your holy goo tribe off. Tanggua waved her hand indifferently. Then please. In the end, the old man left angrily with Xie Qingxue. He even left some harsh words for Tanggua to wait. Xiaogua, is there really no problem? Kong Qi asked worriedly. Do you need me to arrange for people to protect the holy goo tribe? No, Brother Kong Qi, the Empyrean Terminus sect is a martial arts family. Unless it's a very powerful firearm, ordinary people aren't their match. You don't have to worry. I've already brought the Holy Goo clan to the villa complex. I've also made other arrangements for the Holy Goo clan. Don't worry, I'll make them suffer. Miao Xiao was originally worried, but when she saw Tanggua's confidence, she was puzzled. Xiaogua, do you have any plans? Miao Xiao felt that the growth rate of this holy maiden seemed to be beyond everyone's expectations. Silently, he had changed the Holy Goo race. A few years ago, he wouldn't have believed that the people of the Holy Goo tribe could carry briefcases to work in the company and speak English. Even so, they did not let go of their old profession. When they returned home after work, they would diligently practice their Goo techniques. The villa that Tanggua bought had a very good environment and was very suitable for raising venomous insects. She had already bought that area, so she wasn't afraid of disturbing other people. It could be said that the villa had become the Holy Goo tribe's second stronghold. Clan leader, have you seen the summoning of 10,000 venomous insects in your life? Tanggua said to Miao Xiao with a smile. Miao Xiao, who was still puzzled, looked at her in shock. Xiaogua, what did you say? Summoning 10,000 venomous insects? You can already summon 10,000 venomous insects? He knew that Tanggua's Goo techniques had been improving and that she must have raised many types of venomous insects. However, he had never thought of summoning 10,000 venomous insects. Even during the most prosperous era of the Holy Goo tribe, not every holy maiden could summon 10,000 venomous insects. The Apex. Chapter 3170. 10,000 Goo was not just 10,000 Goo, but 10,000 types of Goo could be summoned at the same time. As for the number, it would depend on the person's strength. Tanggua's words all these years had never gone unfulfilled, she had never joked. Miao Xiao was so excited that he almost fainted. Summoning 10,000 Goo, 10,000 types of Goo. How much effort would it take to raise 10,000 types of Goo? A Goo master who could summon 10,000 Goo, even if their strength was slightly weaker, wouldn't be afraid of Heavenly Peak sect. On the contrary, Heavenly Peak sect's martial arts experts would look down on them, and if they were careless, they would suffer a huge loss. Brother Kong Qi, Li Hui, Heavenly Peak sect might come to our village and cause trouble. I have to go back and take a look. Although there is no one there, I don't want to see the place I grew up in get destroyed. Kong Qi had almost no hesitation. I'll go with you. I have many bodyguards with good skills. Although they can't deal with martial arts experts, running errands is no problem. Tanggua wasn't afraid of Heavenly Peak sect finding trouble. Kong Qi believed she had a way to deal with them. How could he be at ease letting her go back alone? Can you deal with those people? Kong Chi asked. Tang Guo nodded. I can, my gu techniques have already reached great success. Miao Xiao, who had already calmed down, almost fainted from excitement when he heard this. Great success, their saintess wasn't even 20 years old, how could her gu techniques have reached great success? How heaven-defying was this talent? Now, not to mention Heavenly Peak sect, even if the entire martial arts world came looking for trouble, they wouldn't be able to do anything to their holy gu tribe. Miao Xiao almost laughed out loud. Even if he were to die right now, he would have no regrets. With the saintess' existence, the holy gu tribe would only become more prosperous. After dealing with them, are you going to kill them or let them go? Kong Chi believed that Tang Guo would teach the Empyrean Terminus sect a lesson before letting them go. From what he knew, she wouldn't kill them. At most, she would cripple their martial arts system. This still isn't considered killing them? Man, aren't your filters a bit too thick? To a martial artist, losing their martial arts, isn't that the same as taking their life? Isn't it illegal to kill people in this era? Tang Guo looked confused. Besides, I'm not that cruel to kill anyone who offends me. It's a little bloody. System, ha ha ha. Although he wouldn't be killed, the result would definitely not be good. It was more like a life worse than death. Kong Chi smiled. They came looking for trouble. If we let them off so easily, it would be too easy on them. The system understood the meaning behind his words. Could it be that this fellow was up to no good? What do you suggest, Brother Kong Chi? Didn't you say that we can't kill them casually in this era? But if we don't punish them, I think we're letting them off too easily. Why don't you arrest them and hand them over to the police? Since they openly cause trouble in your village, lock them up in the police station and educate them so that they can turn over a new leaf. Tang Guo was suddenly enlightened. Fortunately, Brother Kong Chi reminded me. Yes, although I can't do anything to them, they cause trouble. It's trespassing. It's best to send them to the police station. Initially, Tang Guo had intended to cripple their martial arts. She wanted the Heavenly Peak sect to understand that the Holy Gu tribe wasn't to be trifled with. But now that Kong Chi said this, she had another idea. Peak. Chapter 3171. The Empyrean Terminus sect also had a company in the secular world. Weren't they famous in the martial arts world? Then let's make them more famous. With Kong Chi's help, the Empyrean Terminus sect's connections in the secular world might not be so useful. She thought about which of the gu worms she raised would be more suitable for the Empyrean Terminus sect. After making the decision, Tang Guo, Kong Chi, and a group of clansmen prepared to return to the village and wait for the Empyrean Terminus sect to cause trouble. After they left, the more Chu Lihui thought about it, the more she felt that something was amiss. This time, Tang Guo said that she wouldn't be bringing her along. Her cousin also said that since everyone had left, no one would be looking after the company. He asked her to help look after the company in case there was no one to help deal with any urgent matters. After all, the people of the Holy Gu tribe had just joined the company and couldn't resolve everything so quickly. There were many things that they didn't understand. Some things, even a professional manager couldn't make a decision. The main thing was that he was a little worried that no one would be the backbone of the Empyrean Terminus sect's secular world company. Chu Lihui felt that something was wrong. Why was her cousin so enthusiastic? She remembered that recently, her cousin had begun to look for Tang Guo alone. Regarding Tang Guo's matters, he had arranged everything properly and didn't want to make any mistakes. Recalling her cousin's previous eagerness, she couldn't help but think of some of her suitors. Although the things they did were different, they were similar. So, her cousin had taken a liking to Xiao Guo? After figuring it out, Chu Lihui's face fell. She also thought of whether her despicable cousin had taken a liking to Xiao Guo from the start. But it wasn't easy to do it in the past, so he could only use her as an excuse to help Tang Guo. Now that Tang Guo was single, she naturally didn't need her as a little cousin. Kong Chi, you're despicable. Kong Chi didn't know that Chu Lihui had scolded him hundreds of times and had already returned to the village with Tang Gua. Miao Shao also felt it. He didn't believe that Kong Chi's eagerness wasn't because of Tang Gua. As expected, the saintess was so outstanding. How could she not be liked? He found Kong Chi much more pleasing to the eye than Shi Jing. Although Shi Jing was also attentive, he always felt that it was a bit unreal. Kong Chi was different. He was considerate of Tang Gua in all aspects. Outsiders could feel his attentiveness and patience. Tang Gua and the others went straight back to the village. Not only did they go back, but they also asked people to install cameras in the village. Why did they install cameras? Of course, it was to capture evidence of those people causing trouble in the village so that they could be put in jail. Then, she waited for the Empyrean Terminus sect to find her. The Empyrean Terminus sect originally wanted to wait for Tang Gua to go back on her words, but in the end, they discovered that there was no movement from her at all. They even heard that she had directly returned to the village. A few days later, the Empyrean Terminus sect master issued an order. He was afraid that the Grand Elder would lead the disciples to cause trouble for the Holy Gu tribe. After hearing the news, Tang Gua took her men to the cottage on the mountain. The people of the Empyrean Terminus sect discovered that this place was empty. There was no one there at all. They were very angry and thought that Tang Gua might have come back to take away their clansmen. Great Elder, what should we do? Everyone here seems to have escaped. Despicable. They sure ran fast. The old man was very angry. Destroy this place for me. The monk can run away, but the temple can't. Since the monk doesn't want the temple, then we'll do a good deed and help them destroy the temple. Inform everyone to find the whereabouts of the Holy Gu tribe. After finding them, don't be polite and kill them directly. Peek. Chapter 3172. The people of the Empyrean Terminus sect didn't care about whether they could kill people as they wished in this era. Their sects often fought with each other, and outsiders couldn't interfere at all. Even if they cleaned up after exterminating the sect, no one would find out. Dear host, they are already smashing the things in the village. Yes, let them do it. The houses in the village are indeed rather old, and those old things should be replaced. If they aren't smashing, I'm a little reluctant to replace them. Now that someone is willing to pay to rebuild the village, I'm very happy. After Great Elder and the rest smashed the entire village, Tang Gua finally came down from the mountain with her people. When Great Elder saw Tang Gua, he sneered, "Saintess, you came at the right time. I thought you were afraid and ran away. You came here to destroy the village, and you want to leave just like that?" Basically, everything was smashed. Tang Gua asked the system to check the cameras. The cameras were already out of power and couldn't be used. Then, it should be time for her to perform. Great Elder saw Tang Gua's indifferent look and suddenly felt that something was wrong. People who practiced martial arts had especially sharp eyes and ears. When he heard strange sounds coming from the surroundings, he felt a little uneasy. By the time he realized that something was wrong, it was already too late. The black mass was like water soaking in. The things that were constantly covering in front of them were all worms. They were already surrounded by a dense mass of worms. Needless to say, these were all goo worms. Great Elder's scalp went numb. He wanted to jump up and run away, but suddenly, he realized that all he could see were goo worms. These goo worms were slowly shrinking in size and surrounding them. Not only were there goo worms that could crawl, but there were also goo worms that could fly with wings. This was the scene of 10,000 goo worms. The most excited people were Miao Shao, the patriarch, and a few members of the Holy Gu tribe. 10,000 goo worms. They didn't expect to see such a scene in their lifetime. No matter how Great Elder and the rest ran or resisted, they couldn't escape the encirclement of the goo worms. Soon, they were all surrounded by the goo worms. It wasn't until Tang Gua gave the order for the goo worms to retreat that the 10,000 goo worms slowly dissipated. During this period of time, there were goo worms killed by First Elder and the others. However, even Tangwa herself did not know how many of these things she had raised. In particular, some of the venomous insects were specifically targeted at martial artists, and they had no way to resist. Looking at the First Elder and the others lying on the ground gasping for breath after the goo worms were pushed away, it was clear how powerless they were. Brother Kong Chi, they are no longer able to use their martial arts. They have all been poisoned by my goo. This goo specialized in devouring inner strength and was stored in their dantian. Once they use their internal energy, their entire body will go soft and they won't be able to use it. Why would martial artists want to suppress the Holy Goo tribe? It was because the Holy Goo tribe had all kinds of strange goo worms that could suppress them. Suppression was only because they were afraid. Then leave the rest to me. Trespassing on private property and wantonly destroying private property is enough for them to spend years in jail. Kong Chi smiled as he commanded his men to tie up the First Elder and the others. Others went to pick up the memory card in the camera. There was evidence of this group of people doing bad things. I still have to make a trip to the Empyrean Terminus sect. Tangwa indicated her next destination. Vertex. Chapter 3173. Now that the Empyrean Terminus sect had come to provoke them, Tangwa definitely wanted to get back at them. With Tangwa's previous performance, Miao Xiao didn't try to persuade her at all. Instead, he agreed. For so many years, the martial artists had been suppressing the Holy Goo tribe. Otherwise, the Holy Goo tribe wouldn't have fallen to this state. When they needed any life-saving medicine, they would run to the Holy Goo tribe. They were afraid that the Holy Goo tribe would raise some strange goo worms and desperately suppress them again. In the past, they didn't have the strength. Now that the Saintess could summon 10,000 goo, the entire martial arts world was no longer afraid of them. Naturally, they had to go and hold their heads high. Of course, Kong Chi followed them. When they arrived outside the Empyrean Terminus sect, Tangwa held a loudspeaker and shouted, "People of the Empyrean Terminus sect, come out. Tangwa of the Holy Goo tribe is here to return your gift." When Tangwa brought people to the Empyrean Terminus sect, they caused a huge commotion. Whenever people from the martial arts world saw them, she would talk about her grudges with the Empyrean Terminus sect. Mina's activities at the outermost area of the Empyrean Terminus sect were indeed very frequent. They heard that the sect master had found a new bloodline. After hearing Tangwa's words, they suddenly realized. However, when they saw Tangwa bringing these people to the Empyrean Terminus sect, they thought she was courting death. When they heard the latest news, Tangwa summoned 10,000 goo and surrounded the Empyrean Terminus sect so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Those goo worms constantly gnawed at the Empyrean Terminus sect's buildings. Some goo worms even directly burrowed into the bodies of the Empyrean Terminus sect's disciples. They were the kind of goo worms that made people unable to use their internal strength. Even when the Empyrean Terminus sect's sect master finally came out, he was beaten back by Tangwa. They heard that the Saintess of the Holy Goo tribe was only 20 years old, but she could already summon 10,000 goo worms and had great success in her goo techniques. They heard that not only was the Saintess of the Holy Goo tribe unparalleled in her goo techniques, but her martial arts and internal strength were also very strong. Even the Empyrean Terminus sect master was beaten back by her palm. Sect master should have finished listening to the recording I played just now. Kong Chi smiled as he looked at the white-haired old man who was sitting on the ground and leaning against the wall. Actually, this is a direct recording, but I think it's enough to listen to the recording. If you want to watch the recording. After Tangwa defeated the sect master of the Empyrean Terminus sect and released insects to destroy the other party's building, Kong Chi stood up and played the audio recorded by Chu Lihui. Right, sect. Right. The sect master of the Empyrean Terminus sect didn't say anything, but he wasn't as arrogant as before. He had cultivated his inner strength for many years, but he was defeated by a little girl in her 20s. This was something that he could not accept. Actually, it didn't matter whether he listened to this recording or not. If they were defeated, the Empyrean Terminus sect could only admit defeat. They did not have the capital to do anything to the Holy Gu tribe. However, after listening to the recording, he became even angrier. It turned out that Shi Jing and Xie Qingxue were really unreasonable. 2. S's. His subordinates were to blame as well. Their questions were unclear, causing him to lose face. Now, the entire Wulin probably knew about his shameful matter. If there's no problem, Sect Master will have to compensate the Holy Gu tribe for the destruction of the entire village. The houses there were destroyed by your Empyrean Terminus sect's people. It's completely uninhabitable. Tang Guo reminded him. Chapter 3174. Sect Master shouldn't be lacking in this. As for those who tried to cause trouble and sow discord between our Holy Gu tribe and the Empyrean Terminus sect, I've already captured them and sent them to the police station. As for the compensation, I'll arrange for someone to come and explain it to you another day. The Empyrean Terminus sect had already suffered a crushing defeat, so the Limitless Sect Master didn't plan on struggling anymore. They could only blame themselves for being careless and allowing the Holy Gu tribe to grow to this extent. The current situation was beyond their control. The Holy Gu tribe Saintess, who could summon 10,000 Gu, was someone that even the entire Wulin couldn't resist. No one could predict when those strange worms would burrow into their bodies through their skin and nest in their dantian. As for those disciples who aren't clear-headed, I hope Saintess can let them off. Tang Guo smiled. I've already handed them over to the police. As long as they behave themselves, I believe they'll be out soon. Sect Master doesn't need to worry. Although the Empyrean Terminus Sect Master was furious, he didn't dare to ask any more questions. This was because he didn't know how many worms had burrowed into his dantian. Now, as long as he used his inner strength, his entire body would become incomparably solid. Tang Guo smiled. It wasn't just the worms in his dantian. This elder's blood was filled with her Gu worms. As long as the other party was a little agitated and used a little bit of martial arts or inner strength, it would be extremely painful. Saintess, can you remove the Gu worms in my body? The Limitless Sect Master finally brought this topic up with a pleading look on his face. Tang Guo smiled faintly and pretended to be innocent. Sect Master, what Gu worms are you talking about? Tell me, why would there be Gu worms in your body for no reason at all? While the Empyrean Terminus Sect Master was about to die from anger, Tang Guo and Kong Qi left with relaxed steps. As for the Gu worms that had been planted in the Empyrean Terminus Sect Master's body, she expressed that she didn't know what was going on. The Empyrean Terminus Sect had already offended her, so she wouldn't help them see what kind of Gu worms it was. If there was anyone to blame it on these people for indiscriminately arranging for people to come to the Holy Gu tribe and start a massacre. In the storyline, the original owner didn't manage to stop the massacre in time. Many clansmen had died resisting the Empyrean sect's attack. Not long after, Patriarch Miao Shao informed Tang Guo that they had received the Empyrean Terminus sect's compensation. Tang Guo let Miao Shao think about how to rebuild the village and continue to wander around the city. Miao Shao saw that Tang Guo was either studying recipes for medicinal cuisine or concocting some nourishing pills all day long. This time, not only did the Saintess have someone she liked, but the person she liked would definitely like her as well. Miao Shao thought highly of Kong Qi and believed that something good would happen to the Holy Gu tribe soon. Shao Guo, do you want to cultivate another pair of love Gu? Now that your Gu skills have reached great success, nurturing the love Gu is an easy task. In just a few years, you will be able to nurture a perfect pair of love Gu. Miao Shao reminded appropriately. Once they were nurtured properly, they would be able to get married. When the time came for them to get married, the two of them would plant a seed. They wouldn't have to worry about Kong Qi accidentally dying because of his poor health. A saintess who had mastered the art of Gu would definitely cultivate the most powerful love Gu. It would prolong one's lifespan and benefit one's body. That's true. Tang Guo was still pondering over another matter. After the love Gu was planted, should their lifespan be calculated according to Kong Qi's or hers? Peak. Chapter 3175. Actually, there's no point in thinking about this. Dear host, regardless of whether it's based on your lifespan or your cutie's lifespan, you're both willing. You can't live together, but you can die together. It's also a very romantic thing. If you tell your cutie about this, he'll be more than willing to accompany you. Even if he dies, he'll die with a smile. Who knows, he might even be happy in his heart. Tanguo felt that it made sense. Then, when we get married, I'll ask him if he's willing. The system snorted. Was there a need to ask? Of course, he was willing. That fellow was planning how to take things a step further with the host. He was actively giving suggestions to the clan leader about planning the Holy Gu tribe's village. He even specially hired someone to help draw the blueprints. Cousin, you might have already lost a cousin. Chu Lihui walked in front of Kong Chi, seeing that he was looking at the blueprints of various villages. Her expression was indescribable. Cousin, did you hear that? You've already lost a gentle and cute cousin. Kong Chi finally raised his head and smiled. I don't have a gentle and cute cousin. Chu Lihui, fuck. This was a blow to her. When did you fall in love with Xiaogua? Since you've taken a liking to her and haven't done anything for so long, if you don't bring her into your bowl and someone else snatches her away, where will you go to cry? When she found out that Kong Chi had feelings for Tanguo, Chu Lihui was surprised at first. Then, she became happy. Because she quite liked Tanguo. Especially now that her cousin's health was getting better and better, there was finally someone he liked. The whole family had the same attitude. They hoped that he could get her quickly and bring her home to marry her. I already have a plan. Kong Chi had a serious expression. Soon, she'll be mine. Chu Lihui couldn't help but roll her eyes. Wasn't he being too confident? What if Tanguo wasn't willing? She would be slapped in the face then. However, after a while, when Chu Lihui found out that Kong Chi had brought Tanguo home to meet his parents, she almost shouted out, fuck. She clearly graduated from a famous school. Why was it that when facing her cousin, she only said, fuck? Tanguo and Kong Chi naturally got together. Because there was a precedent, the clansmen severely tested Kong Chi naturally. The final result was good. Kong Chi was not afraid of all the tests. His clansmen saw his sincerity and finally gave him their sincere blessings. On the day of their wedding, Tanguo took out the love gu. Under Kong Chi's expectant gaze, the two of them planted the love gu. One day, Kong Chi suddenly asked Tanguo something. Xiaogua, you and Shijing have been implanted with a love gu before. I heard from the clan leader that even if it is a female gu, it will take a lot of effort to force it out of the body. I don't have the guts. Tanguo blinked. At that time, Shijing was the only one who planted the love gu. I didn't do it for the time being. Kong Chi was puzzled. Why didn't you plant it in the beginning? Back then, I raised a lot of gu. I did not have time to plant love gu. Kong Chi didn't believe her nonsense. He originally thought that this young lady was innocent and straightforward, but in fact, she was no less evil than him. Seeing that Kong Chi didn't believe her, Tanguo looked like she couldn't persuade him and said, Brother Chi, actually, I didn't plant the love gu immediately because I had a bad dream the night before the wedding. Peak. Chapter 3176. What did you dream of? I dreamt that Shijing might be lying to me and might even betray me in the future. System, TSK, here we go again. You're really good at coaxing cute words. This man was really something. After listening to these words for so many years, wasn't he tired of it? Was it because of this dream that you didn't plant the love gu? Kong Chi asked. He felt that this was true. Yes, I planned to wait and see if it was the same as the dream. After all, even if it's easier to remove the female gu, it's still not good for the body. Brother Chi already knows what happened after that, so I didn't continue to plant the love gu. Kong Chi nodded and asked, then what about the female goo? It shouldn't be dead. Once the female goo died, the male goo wouldn't be able to live either. If the male goo died, Shi Jing would also die. He had always been paying attention to Shi Jing's situation. He was still being tortured by the love goo from time to time. Even without Kong Chi's interference, he wouldn't have the energy to make a comeback. Shi Jing's parents hated Xie Qingxue very much and didn't approve of this daughter-in-law. A few years had passed, but the two of them still hadn't married. Because of Xie Qingxue's matter, Empyrean Terminus Sect's Holy Mouth Gu Clan Saintus, the sect master, and the other disciples couldn't use their internal strength. They were basically crippled. There was also a group of disciples who were locked up in the police station. The entire circle was in an uproar because of this. How could the Empyrean Terminus sect master care about Xie Qingxue when he couldn't even protect himself? Kong Chi would occasionally ask his younger brother to cause trouble for the Empyrean Terminus sect's company in the secular world. In any case, he wouldn't give them a good life. In a fit of anger, I planted the female goo in Shi Jing's dog. Tang Guo pursed her lips and said softly, after all, I can't kill people so easily, so I could only do this. Hearing this, Kong Chi almost burst out laughing. Alright, so it turned out that Shi Jing had planted the love goo in a dog. This dog couldn't control the emotions of the female goo. Shi Jing was tortured every day. He had never thought that the love goo's activation would be so unbearable. After a few years of continuous pain, he couldn't bear it anymore. Although he spent time with Xie Qingxue every day, he didn't get close to her. When Xie Qingxue cried beside him, he couldn't help but feel sorry for her. Seeing Shi Jing in such pain, Xie Qingxue went to Tang Guo again. Her attitude was much better than before. Miss Tang, please think of a way to help Ah Jing. I really don't want to see him in pain. I don't dare to ask Miss Tang to sacrifice herself for others. I only hope that Miss Tang can give Ah Jing a way out. Xie Qingxue finally lowered her head. This time, Tang Guo didn't directly say that she couldn't help. Instead, she said, although the love goo can't be eradicated, there is a way to solve it. I see that the two of you are still together after so many years. You really have no regrets. Alright, I'll give you a chance. There is a way to resolve Shi Jing's pain, so that the two of you can share this pain together. When the system heard this, it felt that something was wrong. There was a way. Why did he feel that it wasn't a good thing? Xie Qingxue took the method that Tang Guo told her. She went home to find Shi Jing and told him about it. The method that Tang Guo had told her was to use blood to attract the goo. As long as the male goo could be lured into her body, Shi Jing's pain would naturally be resolved. Peak. Chapter 3177. She even reminded them that each of them could suffer for a month or half a year. That way, they would be able to share the pain. It was only fair for everyone to have a taste of being eaten by the love goo. System, yes, yes, yes. Whatever the damn host says is right. After Kong Chi found out about this, he laughed at Tang Guo for being so good at tormenting people. He also happily said that his wife was so smart to have thought of such a good idea. System, jackals of the same tribe. After Xie Qingxue lured the goo worm into her body, she finally experienced the pain of being eaten by the goo worm. In just a month, she was almost tortured beyond recognition. Seeing this, Shi Jing hurriedly lured the goo worm back and continued to suffer the terrifying pain. This situation lasted for half a year. Fang Sifei stood at the side and couldn't bear to watch it anymore. Later, she inadvertently revealed this to Su Danhua. Su Danhua came to find Xie Qingxue. This month was the time when Xie Qingxue was suffering. He planned to use himself to help the two of them. As the two of them were moved, Su Danhua used blood to guide the goo worm. However, perhaps the goo worm didn't like Su Danhua's blood, but it stayed in Xie Qingxue's body and didn't come out. However, when Shi Jing tried, the goo worm immediately ran back into his body. It seems that I really can't help you. Su Danhua said regretfully. I really didn't expect you to be together like this. Since I can't help you, I should leave. Su Danhua said with a relieved expression, I believe that even if you are suffering the pain now, you must be very happy to be together. After all, it is worth it to be with the person you love, no matter how much you cry, no matter how painful it is. The pain of the body is far less than the pain of the heart. Shi Jing and Xie Qingxue wanted to refute. In fact, they already felt that the pain of the body was the real pain. Su Danhua left, leaving behind a dumbfounded Shi Jing and Xie Qingxue. Su Danhua's footsteps were very relaxed, as if he had really let go of something. From this day onwards, people related to Xie Qingxue couldn't contact Su Danhua. A long time later, they found out that Su Danhua had emigrated. Later, he found a new partner, got married, and had children. He lived a peaceful life. As for Shi Jing and Xie Qingxue, they still had to use their blood to guide the goo into their bodies every month and endure the pain of being bitten by the goo worms together. Fang Sifei saw that the two of them could still be together like this, and she was very touched by their love. Later on, she also married Zhu Jing. She thought that she and Zhu Jing would live a happy life together. She had never thought that after so many years, Zhu Jing would actually cheat outside. She threw a tantrum and cried, but she couldn't break up with him. Every day, she had to fight with all kinds of mistresses. The Shi couple tried to persuade Shi Jing to leave Xie Qingxue, but to no avail. In the end, they gave up. Their days were cold and cheerless. Shi Jing and Xie Qingxue each endured the pain once. They did not know how many years they had persevered for. Every month until that day, their hearts would tremble, and then they would become numb and calm. Unknowingly, the pain they felt from the love goo acting up had lessened. One day, Xie Qingxue suddenly said, Ah Jing, you don't love me anymore, right? Qingxue, Shi Jing looked at Xie Qingxue and asked, You don't love me anymore, right? Vertex. Chapter 3178. The two fell into silence for a long time and didn't continue this topic. From this day onwards, they didn't carry out the blood goo every month anymore. The love goo returned to Shi Jing's body. The two continued to live together, but there was no longer the burning passion between them. It was like a calm pool of stagnant water. Under Tanggua's care, Kong Qi's body was slowly getting better. According to the rules, with the age she had lived in this world, plus the 20 years, she should be able to live until she was 40 years old. Maybe it was because her goo skills were perfected, and the two planted the love goo with great care. Through the love goo, the two had reached the level of sharing life. In this life, Kong Qi lived for 102 years with a body that everyone thought wasn't very good. Tanggua was a few years younger than him, but she also lived for more than 90 years. In the world of ordinary people, this age was already very long. Because of Tanggua's special care, when she left the world, Miao Shao was still alive and kicking. He sent Tanggua away with tears and snot. He also assured her that with the precious letters she left behind, he would definitely choose the most outstanding saintess. Anyway, he felt that he had lived for a long time. If this one didn't work, he would choose another. He would definitely be able to choose one that he was satisfied with. He was very patient. When Tanggua left the world, she also said goodbye to the people in the group. She said, This world has ended. See you in the next world. After the people in the group knew, they all sighed. Only Shangguan Yungu looked at this message and was a little confused. He didn't understand what was going on. After everyone explained it to him, he was amazed. So there was such a magical thing in the world. Sure enough, the school bell marshal uncle was a very powerful person. She could actually go to various worlds. Shangguan Yungu, Master, when will little marshal uncle appear? Mo Yuntian, it shouldn't be long. The flow of time in your world seems to be slower. More than 70 years have passed in your marshal uncle's world, but less than 10 years have passed in your world. Don't worry, you will be able to see your sister soon. Don't worry, just wait. Shangguan Yungu was relieved. The people in the group were very concerned about Tang Guo's whereabouts. Recently, he had been paying attention to this issue. He had only acknowledged Mo Yuntian as his master for a few years. The new emperor was basically able to control the court. He had done everything he could to help the new emperor. Then, all the power was transferred to the new emperor. On the other hand, he stayed in the palace all day to practice martial arts. The new emperor wanted to continue enslaving him, but he was not willing. He was someone who wanted to become an immortal. He couldn't let that little rascal ruin his immortal fate. Since you're already a member of the Marquis' estate and my official wife, then follow old madam and take care of the Marquis' estate. Tonight, I have to make things clear. You and I are only together on the orders of our parents and on the words of a matchmaker. You have already obtained the position of the crown prince's wife, so you don't have to think about anything else. The moment Tang Guo woke up, she heard these heartless words. She could feel that something was covering her head. From what she had heard before, she guessed that this was another wedding night. Why did I get married so many times after transmigrating here? Well, if you get married in this world, it will be your second marriage. The system sighed helplessly. There's no other way. I have the script for the unlucky female supporting lead. The Peak. Chapter 3179. It's really tough on you. But don't worry, Big Cutie won't mind. He doesn't mind, but I do. When will I have an identity that allows me to have my first love and get married? The system comforted her. Maybe in the future. He wasn't sure. After all, it was the script of an unlucky female supporting character. Who knew what strange things would happen? Besides, even if she transmigrated, would Big Cutie and that guy still be considered her first love? He was already a wily old fox, yet he was being so particular. It's late, you should rest. The man turned around and left without hesitation. Miss, are you all right? Miss, how could the heir treat you like this? I knew he was a devoted person, but I didn't expect him to be so heartless. You can go out, I want to rest. Tang Guo took off her veil. It was hard to tell if she was happy or sad. The maid standing at the side wanted to say something, but she was scared off by her gaze. Why was the young miss, who was usually as gentle as water, a little scary now? After all, being treated like this by her husband on her wedding night, no matter how good a person's temper was, she wouldn't be able to tolerate it. Miss, you should rest first. I'll wait outside. If you need anything, remember to call me. Tang Guo saw that the maid was sincere and should be loyal. She nodded gently to show that she understood. After the maid left, she laid on the bed and started to think. She had a feeling that the man just now should be the male lead. The original owner's story must be very melodramatic. System, Big Cutie's intuition must be right. He read the story just now and it was indeed melodramatic. Tang Guo's guess was right. The man who treated her coldly on their wedding night was indeed the male lead of this world, Duke Ho's heir, Do Changye. And she was actually considered as Do Changye's second wife. Because before this, Do Changye had a childhood sweetheart and they were in love with each other. This childhood sweetheart was the female lead of this world, and her name was Lu Junhua. But Lu Junhua and Do Changye did not receive any blessings. Neither the Duke Ho's family nor the Lu family agreed to their marriage. Because of the obstruction from both sides' families, the two of them naturally could not get married. The reason why the original owner of the body became Do Changye's stepwife was because Lu Junhua had died in an accident 2 years ago. With Lu Junhua's death, the people from the two families heaved a sigh of relief, thinking that the two of them would not be together anymore. To her surprise, Do Changye insisted on winning Lu Junhua's memorial tablet. Due to the fact that Do Changye had performed a meritorious deed, the emperor was grateful to him and even granted him a marriage. The two families could not stop it at all. To everyone's surprise, Do Changye's devotion was praised by all the talents in capital city. Some scholars even wrote poems about the love between Do Changye and Lu Junhua. 2 years later, Do Changye finally gave in to his family's urging and agreed to marry the original owner. Anyway, his first wife was already Lu Junhua's. If these people wanted to force him to marry her, then he would marry her. He would marry her and use her as a decoration to shut their mouths. If this stepwife was obedient, he would let her stay in the residence peacefully. But if she was not obedient, he would not be polite. In this era, a woman's marriage was mostly decided by her parents. The Peak. Chapter 3180. She might not have even seen her husband's face before she got married. The original owner of the body had only heard of Do Changye's reputation. She rarely left her room and only heard the rumors outside. She thought that Do Changye was a devoted man. She had never thought of replacing Lu Junhua in Do Changye's heart. Since she had been chosen and married, she naturally planned to take care of the family and take care of her husband. However, she did not expect that Do Changye would leave her behind coldly on the night of the wedding, causing her to become a joke in the mansion. The next day, everyone in the capital city knew that Do Changye was dissatisfied with his new wife and went to the study room. Hence, the original owner of the body became a joke in the capital city from that day onwards. The power of the mansion was in the hands of Madame Chen. Madame Ho had passed away early and Master Ho had been bedridden for more than 10 years because of his serious injuries from the war. Hence, there were not many people in the mansion. The masters of the mansion were Madame Chen, Master Ho, and Do Changye. For a large clan, this was a very small number of people. Now, there was the original owner of the body as his second wife. However, she was neglected by Do Changye on the first day of the wedding. Hence, the servants of the mansion did not trust her at all. Everyone was touched by Do Changye's feelings for his late wife, Lu Junhua. Hence, they did not take the original owner of the body seriously. Her husband neglected her and did not have the power to manage the mansion. Hence, she was not respected by the servants. Madame Chen thought that the original owner of the body was useless because she could not win Do Changye's heart. Hence, she did not like her very much. Of course, that was not the worst part. The worst part was that Lu Junhua, who was supposed to be dead, appeared a few years after the wedding. Do Changye, who had thought that he had given up, seemed to have come back to life and wished that he could hide her in a crack. Although Lu Junhua was still alive, she had lost her memory and did not know Do Changye at all. What was more ridiculous was that Lu Junhua was accidentally picked up by the emperor, Shengguan Qingchuan. Not only did he pick up Lu Junhua, he also picked up her son. Yes, when Lu Junhua disappeared, she was already pregnant with Do Changye's child. The emperor was attracted by Lu Junhua, a brave and courageous woman. He didn't mind that she had a son and directly brought her back to the capital. Besides, although he had heard of Lu Junhua's name before, he had never seen her before. How would he know about her relationship with Do Changye? After Lu Junhua was brought back, the emperor did not let her get involved in the palace because of her special status. He bought a house in the capital for Lu Junhua to live in. That was the reason why Do Changye had discovered it. Ever since Do Changye discovered that Lu Junhua had lost her memory, he would approach her every day in a bid to make her remember something. With such a huge commotion, the emperor naturally knew about it. Just like that, Do Changye told the emperor that the woman was his wife, Lu Junhua. However, the emperor was already caught up in it and was unwilling to let it go. For this reason, he even brought Lu Junhua into the palace and conferred her a title. Ever since then, Do Changye and the emperor had been fighting over Lu Junhua. Because the House of Marquis had made great contributions, the emperor personally decreed that it would be hereditary for 3 generations, and also bestowed the House of Marquis with the Golden Medallion of Exemption from Death. Shengguan Qingchuan felt that Do Changye was a wise and meritorious official. Hence, he definitely wouldn't create trouble for the duke's mansion because of a woman. She thought that by hiding the woman in the palace, Dou Changyi would forget about her after a while. Peak. Chapter 3181. However, Dou Changyi did not give up. He even colluded with a certain little prince to overthrow the emperor because of the emperor's tyranny. After a battle, Dou Changyi succeeded and Shangguan Qingchuan was deposed. After the new emperor boarded the plane, the first thing he did was to send Lu Junhua to the Ho mansion. At this point in time, Lu Junhua already had some memories. However, she did not remember everything. She was dissatisfied with Dou Changyi's actions. Moreover, Dou Changyi already had a wife and was unwilling to marry into the Ho mansion. In the end, Dou Changyi sent the original owner of the body to the temple to meditate. Of course, he told the public that the original owner of the body was sick and had gone to the temple to pray for blessings. He had already planned to wait for the original owner of the body to fall sick so that she would pass away. After the original owner of the body was sent to the temple to meditate, Dou Changyi did all sorts of things to try and make Lu Junhua remember. Dou Changyi's efforts were not in vain. Although she did not remember everything, she was still touched by what Dou Changyi had done. Later on, after experiencing various setbacks, Lu Junhua gradually remembered what had happened. After knowing that the original owner of the body was only a stepwife arranged by her family and that Dou Changyi had nothing to do with her, Lu Junhua felt relieved and the two of them finally got married. As for the original owner of the body in the temple on the mountain, they did not mention anything about it. Dou Changyi had never thought about whether she was doing well or not. A few years later, the temple was robbed. The original owner of the body was a young and beautiful girl. In order not to be humiliated by the robbers, she directly pulled out the only hairpin on her head and stabbed it into her throat. The robbers flew into a rage out of humiliation. They robbed the temple, killed everyone inside, and set it on fire. Just like that, the life of the original owner of the body came to an end. Lu Junhua felt guilty about it and requested Dou Changyi to send someone to investigate the matter and exterminate the bandits. Dou Changyi agreed and indeed exterminated the bandits. Everyone said that although Dou Changyi only loved Lu Junhua, he was very kind to the original owner of the body. In order to exterminate the bandits, he put in a lot of effort. Everyone also said that Lu Junhua was a tolerant woman. She even exterminated the bandits together with Dou Changyi. It was no wonder that the two of them were deeply in love. After reading all the memories, Tang Guo opened her eyes. She stared at the candles that were about to burn out and spaced out for a while. So, what did she do wrong? It's all Dreg's fault. The original owner didn't do anything. The system said angrily, "Host, go ahead and torture him. Dou Changyi is a heartless dog." Of course, he had to torture them. But now, Tang Guo wanted to figure out another thing. That was, in the storyline, there was an unlucky guy called Shangguan Yungu. Was he the one in her group? When she first saw this name, she was stunned for a moment. However, in the storyline, Shangguan Yungu was not as lucky as he was in the group. It was said that he had escaped from an assassination attempt and brought important items back to the capital. However, because his wounds had not been treated for a long time, all of his martial arts had been crippled. He was basically no different from a cripple. After assisting the new emperor for a few years, he had no choice but to recuperate in the prince's mansion because he was not feeling well. Dou Changyi teamed up with one of the young princes to force the emperor to abdicate because he had expected that sage King Duan would intervene. Therefore, he had arranged everything in advance, not giving him a chance to react at all. Later on, Dou Changyi was afraid that Shangguan Yungu would do something bad, so he ruthlessly ordered someone to poison him. Vertex. Chapter 3182. A few months later, Shangguan Yungu couldn't hold on any longer and directly died. That was why he was truly an unlucky person. If it wasn't for this, Shangguan Qingchuan wouldn't have been forced to abdicate. Tang Guo's consciousness sank into the group, intending to ask if the situation was the same as what she thought. If it was really the same, it would be interesting. School bell, Yungu, are you there? Mo Yuntian, sister, are you in a new world? Did you just arrive? What's the new world like? What's the story that makes people angry? Ziyun, I wanted to see who was here, but I didn't expect to meet the sister. Qi Shao just went into seclusion. If he knew the sister was here, he would definitely regret it. Margaret, school bell, I've been waiting for you for a long time. You finally appeared. So, are you in the magic world now? The flowers here have withered time and time again. School bell, Margaret, unfortunately, it's still not the magic world this time. Margaret, you guys go ahead. I want to be alone. Ah. I'd better go and see the new apprentices and see how they are doing. If they don't meet my requirements, I must throw them into the forest for a month and let them enjoy the feeling of being surrounded by magical beasts, insects, and venom. They are really too stupid. They can't see the potential of being protagonists. They weren't so stupid before I took them in. I feel like I've been cheated. Yes, it must be their disguise that deceived me. Damn it, let them stay in the forest for 2 months. Mo Yuntian, being your apprentice is really bad luck for 8 lifetimes. Ziyun, let's have a moment of silence. Mo Yuntian, oh, sister, you were looking for that boy Yungu. What's the matter? School bell, nothing big. I just want to ask him about some things. Margaret, why do I have a bad feeling about this? Ziyun, why are you back? Didn't you go to think about Jingjing? Margaret, there's no conflict between wanting to be quiet and observing the group's movements. After waiting for a while, Shengguan Yungu did not appear. Tanggua suddenly remembered that it was night time. If Shengguan Yungu was really in the same world as her, he should be sleeping now. After thinking it through, she chatted with the people in the group for a while before exiting. After taking off her cumbersome clothes, Tanggua asked Lichi, the head maidservant outside, to fetch her some water. After washing her face and rinsing her mouth, she rested. Although she was not mentally tired, her body had been tormented for an entire day because of her marriage. She had been in her room all this time and lacked exercise. In fact, she was a little sore and needed a good rest. Tomorrow morning, Shengguan Yungu should be able to come online. At that time, he would know the specific situation. However, early the next morning, Tanggua was woken up by her maid, Lichi. She said that she was going to pay her respects to the old madam. Lichi's complexion wasn't good, and her eyes were red. She looked at Tanggua, wanting to say something, but hesitated. What happened? Young miss, the servants in the Marquis's residence are all talking about how you were neglected by the heir. The outside world should be talking about it now. Lichi couldn't help but cry. Her young miss had always been a gentle and kind person. She really didn't know who she had offended. If the heir wasn't satisfied with the marriage, he shouldn't have agreed to it. In the end, he married her and neglected her on the wedding night. He didn't give her any face at all. Peak. Chapter 3183. If they like to spread rumors, so be it, Tanggua said nonchalantly, which made Lichi feel even sadder. It's early in the morning. Don't cry. If you continue crying, I'll chase you out. According to her memories, Lichi was a loyal maid. Therefore, Tanggua's attitude towards her was quite good. After hearing Tanggua's words, Lichi had no choice but to hold back her tears. However, she was still upset. Miss didn't do anything wrong, so why did God treat her like this? After washing up and dressing up, Tanggua went to greet Madame Lai with Lichi's help. However, Do Chanya didn't come along. She didn't know if he had gone out or gone to old Madame Lai's place. When she arrived at old Madame Lai's place, Tanggua sensed that someone was staring at her. She scanned the room and didn't see Do Chanya. She reckoned that he had gone out early in the morning, just like what she had described. He didn't show her any respect on the night of their wedding and didn't accompany Tanggua to greet him on the morning of the second day of their wedding. Firstly, He wanted to warn Tang Guo not to let her imagination run wild. He had always treated her this way and it was impossible for him to change. Secondly, he was obviously putting on a show for old Madame Lai. He wanted to tell old Madame Chen that this was the consequence of forcing him to marry her. Even if he married her, it would be of no use. He would only treat this woman, who had taken up his place as a stepwife, as a decoration. Old Madame Lai's face was obviously sullen, but she didn't reprimand Do Changye directly. Instead, she glared at Tang Guo in an unfriendly manner. She didn't even drink the tea and instead put it down forcefully. "Where's Changye? Why didn't he come to greet you on the first day of your wedding?" Old Madame Lai was obviously blaming Tang Guo for not letting Do Changye stay. Tang Guo looked at old Madame Lai, who was sitting there in displeasure, and said, "His Highness went out last night. I don't know where he went." "You're the wife of His Highness. Aren't you going to ask about his whereabouts? I thought you were a good person, but I didn't expect you to be so useless." Tang Guo replied with a faint smile, "Last night, young Master Shitzi told me that he doesn't like me. He married me just to deal with old Madam. He told me not to think too much and to stay in the room obediently and not to cause trouble for him. It's only my first day here. I only saw the heir once last night, so how would I know where he went? Old Madam, it's different. You're the person closest to young Master Shitzi. Did he not tell you where he went?" After reading the story, Tang Guo didn't intend to let herself be wronged from the very beginning. She didn't want to be wronged here. She didn't want to waste her energy on a person like Do Changye because it was simply a waste of energy. The main thing was that her family background was really not bad. At least, it was on the same level as the Marquis's household. There was no need for her to be a concubine in front of the old madam. The original owner of the body was submissive only because she had been tortured by this era. She thought that it was her fault if her husband wasn't satisfied with her. Besides, she was gentle and had never experienced such a situation before. When she first arrived at the Marquis's household, she had no one to support her and was even neglected. She was actually very flustered. However, it was different for her. This marriage was planned by old Madam. If old Madam was dissatisfied, she could just ask Do Changye to divorce her. If Do Changye dared to divorce her, she would spread the news about the Marquis's household. Anyway, her reputation was not important to her. System, yes, yes. Climax. Chapter 3184. Shameless people could go anywhere and defeat all their opponents. She thought of a certain someone. Wasn't it because of his shamelessness that he was able to get his wife? Old Madam, calm down. It's not worth getting angry over such trivial matters. Since I've already married into the Duke's mansion, I can't force him to stay with me even if he's not satisfied with me. His legs are on the Crown Prince's body. Who can stop him wherever he goes? When Madame Chen heard this, she almost died of anger. She pointed at Tang Guo and didn't know what to say. Didn't they say that this family Tang girl was gentle like water? Sure enough, she was deceived and believed in slanderous words. She thought that she would marry a gentle and virtuous granddaughter-in-law, but she didn't expect her to be such a shrew. You're still talking back. Go and kneel outside. Madame Chen decided to teach Tang Guo a lesson since she couldn't win against Tang Guo. Old Madam, you can't vent your anger on me just because His Highness doesn't enter my room and can't control him. If you're not satisfied with me, you can ask His Highness to divorce me. Kneel, I won't kneel. Tang Guo wasn't afraid at all. What was there to be afraid of? If this matter was blown out of proportion, it would affect the Duke's mansion's reputation. As for the family Tang, they probably didn't care much about her daughter. As the saying goes, a married daughter is like water that has been poured out. Back then, the original owner of the body had been living in poverty and had asked for help from the family Tang. However, her father only asked her to stay in the Duke's mansion and didn't say anything else. Do Changye sent the original owner of the body to the temple for meditation without any wrongdoing. No one from the family Tang objected, let alone support her. It was all because her mother had passed away early and the current madam of the Tang family was also a stepwife. How could he really plan a marriage for his first wife's daughter? Everyone said that Shitsi was very affectionate and that he was a good person. However, such an affectionate person would only treat the person he loved the most. No matter how envious others were, he wouldn't treat you that way. If you approached him, he would find you troublesome. Wasn't that what Do Chanya did? After Tang Guo paid her respects, she said goodbye and turned around to leave. Rebel. Rebel. You're rebelling. Stop right there. Madame Chen was so angry that she stomped her feet and slapped the table. Hurry up and kneel outside, otherwise. I really didn't think that a family Tang girl would be so rude. Tang Guo stopped and turned around with a smile. Then, old madam, you can divorce me and spread the word that no one from the family Tang family can marry. I won't stop you. It's your freedom. Tang Guo's nonchalant attitude left old madam completely at a loss. She really couldn't divorce Tang Guo. She had finally married Tang Guo after much difficulty. She had already fallen out with Do Chanya once. If she were to fall out with Do Chanya again, her grandson might really leave her. Besides, she felt that Do Chanya might not agree to divorce Tang Guo. Even if she agreed, with this marriage and divorce, the one who would become the laughingstock of the Marquis's estate. When the servants of the Marquis Fu saw Tang Guo's performance, they originally looked down on her. She was so arrogant that she put away her previous contempt. They didn't dare to provoke such a shrewish person. They looked at old madam who seemed to be at a loss. Lychee was stunned by Tang Guo's actions. She didn't seem like the young lady she was familiar with. Miss, is this really okay? You've offended old madam today. Now that you're in the Marquis's estate, it's easy for old madam to make things difficult for you. Peak. Chapter 3185. Lychee was extremely worried. Now that His Highness doesn't care about you and you've offended Madame Tang, how are you going to live your life in the future? I'll live my life as I should. You don't have to worry about these things. Tang Guo looked up and smiled. You must remember that you can do whatever you want in this mansion. If anyone makes things difficult for you, come and find me. I've finally left the Tang mansion. To think that I've tolerated it for so long. Lychee was stunned to hear her words. Miss, was your gentleness in the past all an act? Yes, it's all an act. Since Lychee was her personal maid, she had to get rid of Lychee's concerns first. Outsiders usually wouldn't hear about women in the boudoir. Hence, it didn't matter if she changed her temperament slightly or not in the Tang mansion. Even if the people in the Tang mansion found out about it in the future, they would only think that she had changed her temperament because she couldn't win His Highness' heart. As for what happened today, Madame Tang would definitely ask someone to keep it a secret and prevent the news from spreading. After all, Lin Mengya was the granddaughter-in-law that old Madame Tang had chosen herself. Previously, she kept saying that she was very satisfied with Lin Mengya. Now that she had given Lin Mengya a slap in the face, she and the Tang mansion would be embarrassed. However, Do Chanya definitely knew about what happened in the mansion. Do Chanya frowned when he heard about what happened to Tang Guo this morning. Didn't Madame Tang say that she's gentle and virtuous? Do Chanya sounded a little sarcastic. He wasn't worried at all about Madame Tang being criticized. Old Madame Tang had been living a carefree life and had been obstructing him from getting married to Junhua. Later on, when Junhua passed away, she even stopped him from bringing Junhua's name into the mansion. A long time ago, he no longer had any feelings for old Madame Tang. He didn't do anything because of their relationship. In this era, filial piety was more important than anything. Besides, Junhua was already dead and he couldn't be bothered to argue with her. He decided to fulfill her wishes and marry someone she was satisfied with. However, he didn't expect old Madame Tang to shoot herself in the foot this time. Not only did Do Chanya not intend to meddle in Tang Guo's affairs, but he also intended to turn a blind eye to it and let her kick up a fuss with old Madame Sheng. Old Madame Sheng had something to do and would not keep an eye on him all the time. If Dou Changye had known what was going to happen next, he would have helped Madame Dowager to discipline the Tang family girl who was different from the rumors. Madame Dowager was so angry that she didn't eat breakfast or lunch. In the end, she couldn't take it anymore and sent a beautiful maid to Tanggua. She said that the maid had been with her for a few years and that Dou Changye was going to promote her now that he was married. What she did was purely to make things difficult for Tanggua. However, Tanggua did not care about Dou Changye at all. She would be happy even if there were many concubines running around. "What's his name?" Tanggua asked faintly. Her appearance frightened the little girl in front of her. Today, she had seen that Tanggua was a shrew. Even the madam couldn't control her. Although she wanted to be the concubine of the crown prince, she was afraid of the madam of the crown prince. "My name is Chiu Yu," the maid said timidly. She stole a glance at Tanggua and hurriedly lowered her head, not daring to look at her directly. "Good name, Chunhua and Chiu Yu. Is there anyone else named Chunhua?" "Yes, madam. Chunhua is still serving old Madame Sheng." Peak. Chapter 3186. Chiu Yu answered submissively. She did not think that the legendary Tang family girl was gentle and virtuous at all. She was so fierce that her legs almost turned to jelly with just one look. "Why didn't old madam send all of you here? The crown prince's residence is too empty. It's better for Chunhua and Chiu Yu to stay together." Tanggua commented with a smile, which made Chiu Yu shiver in fear. She felt that the crown prince's wife's words were not very friendly. Was she mocking the old madam and, at the same time, threatening her as a concubine who had no choice but to be taken in? "Lichi, reward her." Tanggua waved her hand. Although the Tang family did not care about her, she still had some status. She had also brought the dowry left by her mother. Even the shops were there. Of course, the original owner of the body did not care much about these things. They were all hers now and had nothing to do with the Marquis family. She had money and it was not a problem to reward her with a concubine. "System, look at how rich she is. I thought that she was going to take in a concubine herself." Chiu Yu held the heavy silver in her hand in disbelief. The crown prince's wife looked very fierce. Wasn't she threatening her? Why did she give her the silver without saying anything? Would she say that she stole the silver and chase her out later? "Lichi, get someone to arrange a room for Chiu Yu. Go tell old madam that I'll take good care of sister Chiu Yu." Tanggua smiled at Chiu Yu. Chiu Yu was still a little scared as she held the silver in her hand. She was not as scared as before. However, she did not dare to spend the silver for the time being. It was better to keep it. If the crown prince's wife remembered and regretted it, she would not know what to do. Old madam was relieved to know that Tanggua had settled Chiu Yu down. She thought that Tanggua would definitely mind Chiu Yu's existence. After all, which woman in the world could tolerate her husband taking in a concubine on the second day of their marriage? Moreover, Chiu Yu was her maid and she would definitely listen to her. When the time came, she would be able to quickly find out what was going on over there. When Chiu Yu passed by, she even reminded her that she had to attract Dou Changye's attention and win his heart. Of course, Madame Chen didn't have much hope. Speaking of which, it was really Lu Junhua's fault. Even in death, she still wouldn't let her grandson off. It was also fortunate that she was dead. If she was still alive, who knows how her precious grandson would be implicated. Her Marquis's manner would definitely be unstable. "Your Highness, Madame Lai has sent Chiu Yu to the back residence for the Crown Prince's wife to arrange." "Oh. How did you do it?" Dou Changye asked curiously as he held on to his wine glass. Logically speaking, even if Tanggua accepted Chiu Yu, she would probably be angered by Madame Lin's behavior. Do Changyi was in a good mood now that there was someone at home who could spar with old madam. If he had known that the family Tang girl was not gentle and virtuous, he would have agreed earlier. Even if he married her, she would only be his stepwife in name, and he would not touch her at all. Since Junhua was already dead, his heart was also dead. Besides, the family Tang girl could help him to avoid trouble from Madame Lin. Since Madame Lin had taken a liking to her, it would be easy to marry her, but difficult to send her away. I heard that Madame Lai happily arranged for Chiu Yu to be her concubine and even rewarded Chiu Yu with 2 taels of silver. Most of the time, they would only reward their servants with some taels of silver. Do Changyi was indeed surprised by what Tanghua had done. Peak. Chapter 3187. She's not upset? I heard that she's still smiling. She doesn't seem upset at all. Do Changye squinted. I don't think so. Women in the harem are the best at pretending. They'll pretend to be happy even if they're upset. Only a woman like Junhua wouldn't put on any pretense at all. The follower didn't dare to interrupt and simply listened to Do Changye. Okay, don't bother about this. As long as the crown prince's wife doesn't go overboard, don't bother about her. Let her compete with old Madame Tang. With Tanghua competing with old Madame Tang, he could finally have some peace and quiet. Tanghua had made arrangements for Chiu Yu and had lunch before entering the room to check on the situation in the group chat. When she entered the group chat, she realized that Shangguan Yungu was chatting with the people in the group chat. She flipped through the records and realized that Shangguan Yungu was probably waiting for her to appear. Campus bell, Yungu. Shangguan Yungu, Uncle Master, you're finally here. Why did you look for me last night? Margaret, I have a feeling that there's bad news waiting for me. It's a terrible feeling. Ziyun, Margaret, stop complaining all the time. The girl will come to you sooner or later. Since she's here, it's fate. I believe that you'll definitely meet her. Margaret, Ziyun, you've comforted me many times, but year after year, century after century, the campus bell still hasn't come to me. I still think that she must have offended the god of creation unintentionally. He must have closed the door to the magical world. Otherwise, the campus bell would have come to my world several times. Mo Yuntian, how can there be such a good thing? She's been with us for so many years. How many times has she met us? System, I'm really sorry, but it seems that Big Brother Wild has met Big Brother Host again. Hence, it's hard to say. Ziyun, okay, let's listen to what she has to say. She didn't tell us about the new world because it was too late last night. Now that everyone is here, let's listen to her. Margaret, since she didn't come to your world this time, you should look forward to the next time. Margaret almost burst into tears when she heard this. The people in the group were becoming more and more heartless. In the past, they were all very patient, attentive, and gentle. Now, they were insulting her and even laughing at her. This was simply not a place for humans to stay. Not only was the god of creation targeting her, but even her companions were also targeting her. Shangguan Yungu, Shishu, what do you want to say? School beauty, Yungu, I want to ask, how is your current situation? Shangguan Yungu, right now, I'm basically staying in the palace to cultivate. The new emperor is already able to take charge. Now, I'm just an idle prince. However, that brat often comes over and wants me to go out and do some work for him, but I directly drive him out. How could working every day compare to practicing martial arts? For the past 20 years, I have been worrying about the Eastern Shang nation. I'd been working for my brother since I was 7 years old. When my brother passed away, I was only 20 years old, and I had to assist the new emperor who was only 10 years old. When I met you, I wasn't even 30 years old. Now that he was in his early 30s, he wanted to do something that he wanted to do. Actually, I've always liked to practice martial arts since I was young. I don't like power struggles, and I don't like going to war on the battlefield. Instead, I kind of like the way Jianghu does things, and live a carefree and unrestrained life. Vertex. Chapter 3188. Campus Belle, sounds like you're living a good life now. Oh yes, is the country you're in called Eastern Shang? Shangguan Yungu, yes, I'm in Eastern Shang now. Tang Guo was sure that she had come to Shangguan Yungu's world. The others in the group were silent. They were all too familiar with this situation. When Tang Guo asked them where they were and what their country was called, most likely she found the name of someone in the group in her memory. Margaret, sure enough, I'm the one who is targeted by the god of creation. Campus Belle, have you come to Shangguan Yungu's world? It's not fair. Why did he meet you so soon when he was the last to come? I remember clearly that there was a girl named Wen Yue in the past. You even appeared in that girl's world directly. She only joined the group later. I really want to ask why the god of creation is so unfair to me. After complaining for a while, Margaret left the place to Tang Guo. Margaret, you guys can continue. I need some time alone. Campus Belle, Yungu, is there a Marquis Do's mansion in your world? Marquis Do was paralyzed many years ago. The one in charge now is Prince Do Changye. Do Changye just got married yesterday to Minister Tang's eldest daughter. However, Do Changye did have a wife before, but the one he married was of a lower rank. When Tang Guo said this, Shangguan Yungu, who was lying on a rattan chair in the courtyard and basking in the sun, almost jumped up. Because Tang Guo was right. He was not clear about the affairs of Marquis Do's mansion, especially the younger generation of Marquis Do's mansion. However, he had some impression of the paralyzed Marquis. After all, Marquis Do had become a cripple because he fought for Eastern Shang. The emperor would give him grace mainly because he had made contributions. After all, it was not easy for a marquis to inherit the title for 3 generations. When Marquis Do passed away, Prince Do Changye would be able to inherit the title directly. It was the supreme honor given by the emperor. However, how did Campus Belle know about it? Shangguan Yungu, martial uncle, how do you know so much? Could it be, he had already thought of it? After all, he often chatted in the group and could more or less hear some things. Tang Guo might appear in the world of the group members. For example, Margaret, who had been wailing just now, broke down because Uncle Master didn't go to her world. Campus Belle, if I'm not mistaken, should be in your world. Moreover, my current identity is the eldest daughter of Minister Tang's mansion, Tang Guo. Seeing this news, Shangguan Yungu rolled down from the rattan chair. His face was full of shock. Prince, are you all right? Shangguan Yungu crawled up from the ground, patted the dust off his body, and sat back down on the rattan chair. He waved his hand at the servant. Nothing, you may leave. The servant observed for a moment and discovered that Shangguan Yungu was indeed full of energy when he spoke. His complexion was also very rosy. It didn't seem like he was sick. Only then did he relax and slowly retreat to the side. But the prince's sudden fall still made him a little worried, so he waited on the side to observe the situation. Shangguan Yungu was not in the mood to care about the servant's thoughts. His consciousness sank into the group again. Shangguan Yungu, martial uncle, is it true? How did you go to Minister Tang's mansion? This is too dreamy. Peak. Chapter 3189. Although he wasn't familiar with Do Changye, he didn't think that other girls would be happy after marrying Do Changye. He didn't pay attention to the situation in the Marquis mansion and was preparing to send someone to check on the news later. However, he would go out for a walk every day. He had gone out this morning. It was said that Do Changye left his wife alone on the night of their wedding. He didn't care about Minister Tang's reputation at all. The new wife of the crown prince had become the joke of the entire city. Shangguan Yungu was naturally furious when he found out that she had become Tang Guo. Shangguan Yungu, this Do Changye is really outrageous. Ziyun, ha ha ha, Yungu, don't worry. Since she has come to your world and has become the wife of the crown prince, she must have some grievances and needs to be resolved by her. Mo Yun Tian, that's right, you don't have to worry about her being taken advantage of. However, there shouldn't be so much freedom in this era. You still have to take care of your uncle master so that he won't be bullied by others. Anyway, you're the one and only sage King Duan with supreme glory. It'll be easy for you to help the girl. Shangguan Yungu would do it even if others didn't say anything. Margaret, Shangguan Yungu, you're so lucky. Since the school belle has come to your world, you have to take good care of her. If you don't take good care of her, the creator of the world must be blind. Shangguan Yungu, who was cursed, felt a little helpless. He used to think that the people in the group were very friendly to him. However, he now realized that his uncle master was everyone's treasure. He quickly agreed to everyone's request and was thrilled that such a mysterious and powerful person like Tanggua had come to his world. In fact, he had a lot of doubts about cultivation. He didn't know if he would have the chance to ask his uncle master for advice. His uncle master was recognized by his master, and he even said that his uncle master was more powerful than everyone in the group. If he could get some advice from his uncle master, it would be useful for the rest of his life. If it wasn't because of his identity, he really wanted to bring Tanggua to the prince's mansion and ask her about cultivation. Mo Yun Tian, sister, tell me what happened later. Since you mentioned Yungu, tell me honestly. Is he an unlucky guy in the plot? Shangguan Yungu, master, what do you mean by unlucky guy? Ziyun, the unlucky ones are the people in our group. Whenever we see the girl, she will see some things that happened when she wasn't around. Most of the people in our group. If they weren't killed, they would be struck to death by lightning. If not, they would be crippled, or become lovesick. Shangguan Yungu looked at these words and felt his hair stand on end. Shangguan Yungu, firstly, I don't go out, and secondly, I don't offend anyone. I shouldn't be too unlucky, right? Ziyun, then you're wrong. As long as you're in this group, you'll definitely be very unlucky. Super unlucky. The kind of unlucky that you can't even imagine. Mo Yun Tian, brother Ziyun is right. That is indeed the case. Seeing everyone say this, Shangguan Yungu believed that these seniors would not deceive him. Margaret, I was hoping that I would be unlucky. You really don't know how lucky you are. Shangguan Yungu, martial uncle, how unlucky am I? You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.